Bart, let's start with you. You've been LaFleurishing here on our show with all your hot takes. What do you make of Aaron Rodgers' ability to adapt to change this season?
Well, it's tough to always have everything on you, right? And we see this with Patty Mahomes. Exactly. It's fun at first. It's fun, like you going around throwing the ball across your body.
Yes.
You got the throw to Jared Cook, your pirouette, you're throwing all the Hail Marys. That's fun until you break your clavicle, hurt your ankle, start getting beat up, and you're like, you know what? This isn't so fun anymore. And then what happens is you see an organization make a effort to say, you know what, let's preserve his greatness a little longer, because for all his greatness, what does he have to show for it? One Super Bowl. And a lot of us are searching. Me and Cece never got a Super Bowl, but we know with that type of talent that he has, that arm talent that he has, he should be on 3. He should be on 4. He should be at least in 3 or 4 Super Bowl appearances, and he's not. And it's because they put it all on his plate, and they didn't build and develop around him. Less is more with Aaron Rodgers. And you see this offense starting to get a groove. He's starting to figure things out. Remember, they didn't have a lot of time. They didn't play in the preseason. They're starting to figure things out. But guess what? I don't have to have it all on me. Let that defense go eat for me. And the great example of that was during the game. He wanted to go for it. He wanted to be more aggressive down the field, when the game was getting tighter. But what did LaFleur say? Run the ball. Trust your defense. They've been doing it all day. This is the best place to win. We don't need you to be a superhero, because now you have a team. And you see the same thing happen with Drew Brees. For years, he had to throw for all these yards. Man, they got him a running game in the defense. He's the happiest man in the world. Because, listen, your greatness is already cemented. You're already going to get a stamp to the Hall of Fame. Now you're going to be measured by your Super Bowls and how you win. That's how you get to elite status.
And I think Rodgers knows that, statistically speaking, he's never going to catch Peyton. He's never going to catch Drew Brees. I don't think Aaron Rodgers is going to play till mid-40s, or early 40s, pardon me. He's never struck me as a guy that's going to try to do what Tom Brady's doing, which is, Aaron Rodgers turns 36 in December. I think he probably plans on playing 4 more years at this level.
40 is a lot.
Right, and that would be at the upper end of it. So for him, it is all that is left to accomplish. One, multiple MVPs, is getting back to another Super Bowl, winning another Super Bowl. And this is what I said earlier, and I totally agree with Bart. His last great season was 2016. 17, he broke his collarbone. 18, he got hurt in the first game of the year, and they fired Mike McCarthy late in the year. The last great season was 2016. 40 touchdowns, 7 picks, 105 rating, a credible candidate for league MVP. And they're down 31-0 in the NFC Championship game. They only won 10 games that year. Yep. They had to play in the wild card round, and they were never truly a Super Bowl contender because it was all on Rodgers. Despite his brilliance, they snuck into the playoffs with 10 wins. And so this year, even though his numbers are down, even though he is not in anyone's MVP discussion, I think he's more than happy because of exactly what you said. He knows he can still channel that greatness, and once Davante Adams comes back, I think he knows he still has multiple 300-yard, 3 or 4 touchdown games in him. But to not have to do that, to beat Chicago, to beat Minnesota, to beat Dallas, has to be an enormous relief for him at this point of his career.
To me, Aaron Rodgers is in the process of changing, and he's still not out of the woods as far as if they have a bad performance, him having some type of soundbite after the game, blaming someone, because that's what he's done his whole career. Yes, Green Bay Packers have told Aaron Rodgers, we don't need you to be Superman all the time anymore. But the best thing Green Bay Packers did for him was having a conversation. When he said, who's the coach? He said, Matt LaFleur is the coach, and we don't want you to be the problem. That was the thing that changed the Packers. It wasn't, they went out and got the free agents to rush the passer, but it's that attitude that Aaron had to change. They realized their culture had to change, but part of the problem in Green Bay happens to be, people don't want to say it, is Aaron Rodgers.
Well, the coach said it last year. Got him up out of there, too,
and
the assistant.
You have to be able to address that. And the Packers in their front office, they did that by telling Aaron, this is our coach. This is what we thought was the best for us. We're going to spend all this money on defense, so you're going to see we are a defensive-oriented team. But those words to him, I don't want you to be part of the problem, is the reason why the Packers are able to get this franchise back turned around, where they can be physical, they can put a good defense out there, they can run the ball late in the games. And yes, there's still a phone booth available for Aaron Rodgers to turn into Superman. but we don't need it week in and week out. But that conversation that they had with Aaron was the realest thing that's happened to Aaron since he took over for Brett Favre. And that's like, don't you be the problem. With all that talent you have, don't let you mess up the culture that we have in the locker room. Aaron said, oh, I'm having fun. He's still playing the same game, all right? Aaron was challenged, and he's responded to it, but he's still not out of the woods.
But you said Brees is far more comfortable this year. You think Brees is far more comfortable taking a back seat because of his defense and the run game, and he's got weapons and all of it. Is Aaron Rodgers the same type of guy, or does he care about what his stat line looks like at the end? Does he care about what the accolades are and all of that at the end of a game?
It doesn't matter what the stats are as long as you got Super Bowl rings. He has enough Pro Bowls. He has enough All-Pros. He has an MVP. He's fine with that. Now it's about cementing that legacy, and that legacy is not getting one Super Bowl. It's separating yourself from all the other quarterbacks that were good to great and getting multiple Super Bowls. That's why Brees is still playing to try and increase his place on the Mount Rushmore quarterbacks. That's why John Elway continued to play. Brett Favre never got his, but that's why he continued to play. You know, anybody can get one, right? Dilfer has one, right?
Yep.
You want to move from that conversation.
Flacco's got one.
Right, Flacco has one. The great ones get two.
Brad Johnson's got one.
Who?
Brad Johnson's got one.
Forgot.
And the thing about Aaron's career is Aaron's a guy from Northern California. He ain't no conversation in Northern California because there's another quarterback from Northern California.
Montana.
What about Tom Brady?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
What about Tom Brady? And that whole time Aaron's been playing, oh, he's the greatest thrower ever. Tom's gone to 9 Super Bowls. The last 3 years. If Aaron could have the last 3 years of Brady's career. So you can only be so great being a quarterback, and you're doing the same thing, and this guy up in New England's taking home all the trophies. So if I was him, I would support the organization like the guy does in New England to be able to get him another trip to the Super Bowl to give him an opportunity.
And I think Rodgers knows that this year, more than any year since they went they've only had home field since he's been there, go through Green Bay one time. I think they've only had a bye twice, which is crazy. Yeah. Part of one of the reasons Brady's been to 9 is they get a bye every single year. They've literally had a bye every year this decade, have the New England Patriots. He knows they got through that part of their schedule with the new coach, with the new personnel, 4-1. They're home against Detroit next week and then Oakland the following week. They're only going to be underdogs most likely in 2 or 3 games remaining at Kansas City, at San Francisco, maybe at Minnesota. This season has 12-4, 13-3 written all over it, and the easiest path to his second Super Bowl that he's had since back in 2011.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from First Things First, or go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.